As a content creator, I've been trying to find the best portable light, which could be an everyday tool in my arsenal. First I thought bigger equals better, but after a while I realized that most of my situations I struggle with big and heavy lights. But portable lights usually not that powerful enough, and sometimes I wish a little bit more power. And here comes the new ZHIYUN CINEPEER C100. ZHIYUN sent me this light to make a review about it. So I will share you my experience, all the things which I like and don't like. The light has two variations, the standard and the combo. Here I get the combo, so let's open the package. The light comes in this handy small bag, which feels really premium. And if you open it, you will see the power cords. A metal clamp for the light, some papers, barn doors for shaping the light, a random case, a diffuser, and a USB-C cable. And here is the light itself. I noticed that this one is damaged, which is sad, but luckily it does not affect the light function in any way, so I used some glue to fix it. But ZHIYUN was really kind and sent me a brand new piece, so if you have any problem with the product, don't hesitate to contact with their support team. It's a big thumbs up for their customer service. And here's the barn doors, which can shape the light. This could be useful in some situations when you don't want to let the light spill around. But it's removable by pulling back, and it feels like a normal tube light now. Let's see the main features. Full color RGB. This is my favorite feature. Based on ZHIYUN documents, you can achieve 36,000 different colors. Honestly, I am really impressed about the colors. You will get a ton of flexibility, so it can be set in between colors like nuclear orange or purple, and you know I really like to play with that. But here's the thing which is really surprised me, the brightness of the colors. Usually RGB lamps are not so bright, but this one is one of the brightest RGB lamp I've ever seen. CCT neutral light. In CCT mode you can set the light between 2700 Kelvin, 6500 Kelvin, so it could be adjusted to the temperature of the other lights. That's really cool when you try to control the white balance. In this mode you will get the most from the horsepower, it's 1% now in 5600 Kelvin. It's basically 100 watt and it's capable of 3800 lux, which is really bright. It's 100% now, it's like a portable sun. It means all the other tubes looks dim next to this. That's a lot of power. Basically, you can easily upscale the ambience of the room. It has these stats, which means how accurate the light is. I don't really know what these numbers are, but for my eyes it's pretty accurate. Control. One of my favorite features is the flexibility. Sometimes I only want to highlight a certain part of the scene, or I just don't want to let the light just spill around the walls. In this case, this modifier is really useful. It has built-in barn doors, which basically makes your light source bigger, you can see, and also you can shape the light as you wish. But keep in mind that this is not a spotlight, so you can't achieve that clear line if you close the barn doors together. You can see here that it's spilling around a little bit. But you can block a lot of spilling like this. If you want more control, there is a grid which focuses the light into one spot. I really like that design that you can just easily put on the barn doors. Let's use some color, and here is my 35mm lens. You can see if the focus is right, like this. And I can add an extra sauce with the color without spilling to my face. You can see it's really focused, so it could really highlight an object, for example, in a certain place. Without it. That's it. I really like the barn doors. Let's remove this grid. And I also really like how easy to carry. The bag design lets you carry the grid here, which is a really smart idea. Big thumbs up. I don't like to carry stuff separately, so it's really useful that you can carry the grid here with all the other stuff. And it also has a diffuser if you want to achieve softer light. This one. And like the grid, you can just easily put this onto the barn doors. I recommend to close the barn doors first because it's easier to install the diffuser. After you install the diffuser, you can open the barn doors gently on the other side, and you have more diffused. And you have much more diffused light now. I also really like this design because you don't have to remove the barn doors if you want to shape the light. It makes surprisingly softer light, and it also makes the light source so much bigger. And I also want to mention here that it has the ZHIYUN app. So if you download, you can easily control the light via Bluetooth with your phone. It worked smoothly and I haven't noticed any connectivity problem with the app, but I want to mention that you can't control the effects from the app, only the CCT and the color functions. So if you want to control the effects, then you have to go there and manually turn the dial. Maybe in the future with a firmware update, you will be able to do that. Let's talk about the effects. There are plenty of effects. Let's see some samples. Yeah, and this is a funky one. If you make a sound, then it can produce light. So if you're working on a music video, then this mode could add an extra flavor to your shots. But it can be used in any other situations also. The battery. It has 4500 milliamperes battery, which lets you use the light at 100% nearly an hour. Usually I don't need that much power, so it means the light will last much longer than this. But it could be powered by DC or power bank, because I have this power bank. Mine is not that powerful, but it's working. So it can add a little bit more to the time. And for safety, you have the old and gold cables. Cooling. This is an interesting one. Because of this much of power, it needs some sort of cooling system. Basically, it's a dynamic system which enables the fan when it needed and turns it off when the temperature is okay. It has some noise, but it's not loud for my ear. And the 80% of the time when I use this light, the fans were off. But if you want really clean sound, don't put the microphone really close to this light. I show you. Here's my microphone over my head. It's like this. Maybe you can hear that. In 100% it's not ideal to put this close to the microphone. I think it's not a huge deal because it's not that loud, you can work with it. Where it can be used? It's a really important question. Usually I don't have large spaces where I can shoot. That's why I think if you have to shoot a lot in smaller places, then you need a smaller light. It's really quick to assemble thanks to the design. If you have a cheap stand like this, it's, I don't know, $20. Just open it. I'll show you how quick it is. Here is the light. Clamp. And that's it. And for me, it's a game changer because it's so fast and so easy. You can get nice and diffuse light also. If you point the light directly to yourself, but you can bounce the light from the wall and you will have larger and softer light source. And you can just leave the shadows by pointing to the ceiling and turn up the brightness. It's so powerful, so you can use as a field light in a bright sunny day or fake a sunset with that. From my power tubes you can see nothing during the day. We went out to test this light in the middle of the night. That was so spooky. The wind made so weird and strange noises all the time. So every time I thought something was hiding in the bush. It was scary. But it has power to lead me as a main key light. And also you have a lot of variations and flexibility here. And if you do everything alone, that the application is so useful. And for example, if you're a wedding filmmaker, it can lead the dance floor also. But if you're a content creator, you can color the wall behind you or just use the colors just to make some interesting looking image. I think mostly content creators would appreciate this light because of the form factor and quick usability. I can compare how much quicker I can use this light over my spotlight. For me, it's day and night. I know the purpose is different, but let's be honest. Sometimes you only need a quick and good enough solution to light a scene, and you don't have the opportunity to use bigger and softer and more professional light. For example, if you're a running gun filmmaker, you can't go out with the 120 centimeter softbox because it's not possible. You need a team. But with this, you can achieve really similar results with one cheap and easy light stand and with this light. In a lot of cases, you don't need big and heavy lights with really slow assembly time. And also it could light your studio by adding color to the background, so you can achieve really dynamic looks, and it could be used as a main key light for your talking heads. I also recommend this light to running gun filmmakers. It fits to the case and there you will find everything that you need. You can shape the light as you wish. The form factor is compact, great for smaller spaces, easy to carry, easy to fit to your car unlike the bigger tube lights. Quick solution to leave the shadows and add dynamic looks using colors. So I think it's a really great package. Let's see the pros and the cons. The pros. The first is the power at CCT and color modes. I really appreciate that much power. I think it's beneficial in a lot of cases. The modifiers are really great. I really like the bunders and the diffuser, so it's really easy to shape the light as you wish really quickly. The battery. The battery can last long 1 hour at 100% brightness, but you rarely need 100%. Usually I use it around 20 or 30%. At that level it can run multiple hours. So that's really useful on run and gun situations. I really like the compact form factor. I thought bigger lights would work better for me, and that was a huge mistake. In most of the situations, the smaller lights could work better. Easier to carry, easier to mount, easier to shape, easier to fit tighter spaces, like for example a shelf or a car. It's really easy to carry and assemble. For example, if I need a main light source, just open the case, put a light on a stand, tighten the quick release plate and turn it on. It's that simple. And the cons. I really like that form factor, but it has one problem. It's difficult to hold it by one hand because it's heavy and there is no real grip on that. Or you could hold it by two hands, or you can just put a grip on it, like this. Mine is a tripod, basically from my DJI gimbal. Your comfort will be so much better and it's easier to hold by one hand. At low power, the RGB colors are not that accurate. Mostly I noticed when the lamp is under 10% brightness. So when I change the brightness at low level, you can see sometimes it shifts the hue. 0, 1%, you can see it's blue. 2%, it's okay. 3, and you can see the shift in 4%. 5, shift again. 7, shift again. 8, shift again. 9, shift again. 10, shift again. Below 10% it could be clunky. You could compensate that with shifting the hue too, but keep in mind that under 10% it's not that accurate. And the other con for me, that this light has too much power even in 1%. Sometimes I don't need that much light, so I would appreciate if you could adjust the settings in between percentages, like 0.5 or something like this, because it's too bright for me. And it's not a huge problem because there are some workarounds, but it would be nice. And another thing that I noticed, that the effects are not available in the app. You are only able to adjust the CCT and the colors. The only way that you can use the effects is that you have to turn it manually. And in a shooting, in a lot of cases, there would be so much nicer if you can do it on your phone. But I think ZHIYUN could fix it in a future firmware update. And the last thing is that be careful with the clamp, because it's really easy to drop the light accidentally. I dropped the light once by mistake. So be really careful when you open and close the clamp. Luckily the light was okay after the drop, but it could have been worse. And that's all. This light has two variations. I tested the combo, which is $399, but the standard is $299. I think it's worth the extra $100 for the combo, because you will get a DC adapter, a quick release light clamp, a diffuser, and last, the grid. These tools are really useful in a lot of cases. So if you're interested about this light, then check the link in the description below. Overall, my honest opinion is that this light really impressed me. Compact, powerful, versatile. I think I will use it in a lot of situations. If you could try once, you will understand why I like it so much. I really recommend this light. And now you know the pros and the cons too. ZHIYUN did not pay me to say this and no money changed hands, but I say thank you to them to send me this light and let me make a review about it. But here's the thing, a lot of people underrate this small spotlight, but it can completely change your videos. Watch this next video if you want to know how.